Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the EEARSS Podcast, produced here at Terrier TV. I am Frank. That is Bill, and we are very much missing Cindy. Yep, she's
Yes.
had a busy work day. We couldn't quite make it to this afternoon, so we're missing our counterpart.
So, yep, it's just you and me, buddy.
It is. How has your week been?
Well, we had that little hiccup with the hurricane.
Yes.
So.
Do you know what it's called, Bill? When two hurricanes collide and one, because apparently this is a thing that can happen, either one, when two hurricanes collide, they can spin around each other and like jump off in different circles, or one hurricane can absorb the other hurricane. I had no idea this was a thing. I had to look it up this morning.
That they could absorb it. I knew they could spin. I knew that.
Yeah, one hurricane can, if they're similar in strength, or even if one's like super powerful and one's weak, the more powerful one can absorb the other one and make it like a super hurricane.
Oh, okay.
You want to take a guess on what that's called?
No.
We should ask our guest what that's called, because she might know what this is called.
She might know that.
But
or she could really quickly, before we unmute her, Google it.
She's probably Googling it right now. Yeah, yes. I wouldn't doubt that. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I think the worst thing we had happen was a couple of leaves fell out of a tree. I mean, it was windy last night.
Yeah, it was windy, but nothing.
We had power lines sparking across the street. Well, the trees were brushing the power lines,
right,
and they were all like, you'd see orange flames coming off. It was pretty cool.
Wow.
But
I know that
nothing
I heard that Apollo Elementary was closed today because they had no power.
Where is Apollo? I should know the answer to this. I know
it's up on the end of Knox McRae.
I was going to say, I know I've been to the school before.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one of the older schools.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not terribly old. But, yeah, I guess the neighborhood a couple of neighborhoods in Titusville lost power. So
I was out walking around in the middle of it yesterday doing research about 6:30 in the evening.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I got a nice rain shower out of it. It was nice.
What kind of research? Just
the biodiversity research. I was just checking on the critters, seeing everything was going. Everything was hunkering down.
Right.
It's an appropriate term for
they know it's coming, I guess.
Hurricanes or hemicanes.
There you go.
Yeah. This was a hurricane.
Okay.
Not a hemicane.
If you say so.
Well, if it had a guy's name,
it had a guy's name,
a hemicane.
Yeah. In my day, they didn't do that. They all had girls' names.
Really? They were all girls' names?
They were all girls' names, yeah. They
really?
didn't do that. They didn't stop doing that until the 90s, maybe?
Here's another trivia question that I saw this morning.
What's that?
When did they start naming hurricanes?
Oh, because
they actually had a list. When they start actually with the list of hurricane names.
Because the 1911 one in Galveston, or the one that destroyed all, didn't have a name.
Yep. And then they didn't want to keep using the names of bad ones that had done damage. They wanted to go.
They
to
retire names.
Yes. But now they have the list every year. Any idea when that started? Take a guess.
I would say 1966.
I think if what I read was correct, it started in 1959.
Okay.
You're pretty dang close.
Okay. Because I remember from the 60s, Camille. Camille was the big one.
My dad mentioned that this morning.
Oh, yeah. When they used to show us, they show you the videos about you need to take hurricanes seriously. You need to, because people, if you don't, you can get hurt.
Right.
And Camille was the example during my youth that they used.
And that hit the west coast of Florida, correct?
No, I think it was more Louisiana and Mississippi.
Okay.
The Gulf Coast.
Okay.
Yeah. The Gulf Coast, because it came in, and right before it hit, it really ramped up. And it surprised a lot of people.
Hurricanes. I don't think this is our last one for the season. I'm sure there's one more coming out there on the Atlantic side and one more down in Marissa's neck of the woods.
Nothing in the Atlantic side is going to turn. It's all heading
north.
It's going away.
There's one more down there by our guest.
There is a disturbance down
by our
there
guest.
Could be something.
She sent this one up here.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think she did.
I think we should ask her about it.
We should.
All right. So today on the EEARSS Podcast, we are joined by our dear friend Marisa Tellez from Belize and the CRC, which stands for the Crocodile Research Coalition, for those that are not huge fans of acronyms. Marisa, how's it going?
Hi, I'm doing good.
Did you send a hurricane after Florida? That's our first question.
I absolutely did, because I have too much croc stuff down here, and I can't have a hurricane messing that stuff up. Plus, I just had not, my hurricane shutters were not up yet, but my hurricane shutters are now up, so I can receive a hurricane now. So I'm good.
Oh, so you literally turned it around and pushed it our direction because you just didn't want to deal with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't want to deal with it. I had too much work, and my hurricane shutters were not installed yet, but they are now. So bring it on.
As the kids say, that hits different. Yeah. Marisa, so let's hit this real quick before we jump into everything. Do you know the answer to my trivia question? What is it called when two hurricanes collide and become one giant hurricane?
Is it like the Fujiwa?
Oh my garage, you're so close. It's the Fujiyama effect. Yes, I call that a win. I think that's a win. If you didn't Google that, then I give you 100 stars, gold stars. And they don't translate to anything of worth, just so you know.
Whoop whoop.
So, down there in Belize, tell us what's been going on. What's new and exciting with we haven't had you on. So we had you on in season 2. I believe somewhere around the middle of season 2. We're at the beginning of season 4 now. So those that haven't heard that episode, definitely go back and listen to it. And for those tuning in today, tell us a little bit about the CRC, what you guys are doing, and some new things that are going on.
All right. If I remember correctly, that episode I was talking about parasites, right?
Yes, you were.
Parasites?
Yep, you hit parasites, and you talked about you kind of brought us through what got you into the career field you're in.
Yeah. So, for all those that are listening, hello. My name is Dr. Marisa Tellez, and I am the founder and the executive director of the Crocodile Research Coalition. And just a quick background, so what got me really into the world of crocodiles was one, I always loved apex predators, and I saw a show of Steve Irwin, and he flipped me to want to pursue conservation in crocodiles. And then when it came to trying to figure out crocodile conservation, I was dreading a class I had to take in college because I heard it was so hard, and it was a class that changed my life. It was a class about parasites. You know what everyone thinks about parasites is like, ew, they give you disease and it's gross and all that kind of stuff. But when you actually dive into the world of parasites, and as more research comes out, parasites have kind of steered the evolution of species. Parasites have steered culture. So, for example, where do you find the spiciest food in the world? Where do you find the spiciest food in the world, Frank?
Bill?
I would think, southern.
See, I would say probably Asia.
Asia?
Asia.
Asia. Yeah.
So it's like, it's usually around the tropics, right? It's kind of like, that's where, when you look at like India, Mexico, all these, and Belize, spicy food. The reason why these cultures have developed spicy food is to combat intestinal parasites. And so this is because there's so many parasites in the tropics. So that's like, and it's really also interesting, just like kind of looking into how parasites have steered other parts of culture. Then when it comes to animals or wildlife, I mean, even people in a sense, parasites have steered sexual selection, because those animals that have a higher encounter rate of being parasitized, those are the ones that have when it comes to breeding season, they're going to be such as the birds of paradise. They're going to be the animals that are, doing the really crazy dances that have the beautiful bright colors, because those males that have the brightest colors or that can actually do a really great dance, they are showing that they have a higher fitness, they have a great immune system, they can kill parasites, so they are going to be producing better offspring, and that really attracts the ladies. And so it's just really interesting how parasites have steered evolution and steered just, again, like culture and other aspects of ecology in the world. And so what got me really into the world of crocodiles and kind of helped establish my career is I ended up becoming the parasite lady of crocodiles. I don't know how many times people are like, oh, it's the parasite lady. more so now I am the croc lady, especially in Belize. But studying parasites and crocodilians is what really kind of helped me establish my name in the world of conservation. And I still utilize parasites to monitor the health of the environment and the health of wildlife populations. But looking at the CRC, I established the CRC in Belize in 2016, and we are a nonprofit organization in Southern Belize, and our whole mission is to promote the conservation of crocodiles, their habitat, as well as adjacent wildlife, because you just cannot protect one species. You have to protect the whole ecosystem. And so we're about protecting crocodiles, their habitat, and adjacent wildlife through research, education, and community involvement. So I like to see the CRC, we are a catalyst when it comes to long-term conservation, because what's really going to ensure long-term conservation is people, the community. Conservation is not just about wildlife, it is about people. And if we want the long-term success of any type of conservation program, we need the support and the education of the people. They need to be involved. They need to build pride and stewardship of their natural resources, because if they have that pride and stewardship, they're going to protect. So that's why I really like to get the community involved in our projects, so that this is a community effort when it comes to protecting crocodiles and their habitat.
This has been something this season, which, season 4 again of our podcast. We've hit back to back people in the world of conservation, and they have all preached the exact same thing. And there is truly something to it whenever you can involve a community or people from an area in conservation of their area. It's one thing for somebody who's not from there to go down and go to wherever in the world you're going and want to help work on a project or get a project started. But it means so much more to have people from the local area involved and deeply rooted in the conservation of their backyard.
Absolutely. And, when you look at science and conservation way back in the day, I'm just going to lay it out there. It was all about ego. And this is where you saw so many scientists wanting to just kind of work by themselves, not work with the communities. They come from their ivory towers and they think that they know it all just because of books and having, gone to a place here and there. You truly don't understand a species. You truly don't understand a habitat unless you live there. I'm working with communities. So I am an immigrant to Belize. And sure, I had all this book knowledge of crocodiles and I had done field research, but it wasn't really until living in Belize I truly understood and appreciated the generational knowledge of people, and really understanding that there's two different types of knowledge. You've got the knowledge from academia, from science, Western science, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I am a trained Western scientist, but there's something truly to be said about the knowledge of rural and indigenous people. And again, this is knowledge that has been passed down for thousands of generations, thousands of years. And there's something to be appreciated about that just because this is knowledge that wasn't being passed down inside a building, this knowledge is important, or probably even more important, that where you're learning in academia. And so it is about, when it comes to sharing this knowledge, it's about sitting around the table as equals, and everyone has an equal say. And by all these diverse backgrounds, all these diverse knowledge, that's when you can really truly start finding solutions for protecting wildlife, for protecting an area, especially with all the current threats that we're facing right now, such as overdevelopment and climate change.
Now, I know you in the CRC, like us with EEARSS, have an internship program, and you're talking about passing knowledge along, which is something you and I both really enjoy and a big part of what we do. Tell us a little bit about your internship program and how that works and how you're bringing the next generation of scientists along with the CRC.
Yeah, so we have a couple of different options with the CRC, just because we know, just not everyone can travel, or not everyone can travel for a very long time. So we have a basic volunteer program, and this is, you're traveling, you can only go somewhere for 3 days, you can come and like help us, and you'll be able to learn some stuff in regards of conservation and community outreach. And then we have our virtual internship program. So again, this is for people that want to learn, want to get a taste, a little bit of scientific research and conservation, but they don't have the means to travel for whatever it is. And so we do a 3-week virtual course with you, and we do send you a CRC t-shirt so you feel like you're still part of the team and you get to actually analyze data that we are collecting in the field during that time. Then something that I recently have done is I have changed our internship program more into a wildlife course. So you're still learning everything as you would learn through an internship, but now this is a course where it would be no more than 5 students in the course, because we want to make sure that it's a very much of a one-on-one mentorship, and you gain and you learn more with smaller classes or when there's a smaller group of people. So you can either do a 2-week course with us, or you can do a full month. And with the full month, you get a bit more presentations, but you also get a lot more field work, which includes, because CRC, as I had mentioned, we're more than just crocodiles, but we are now initiating the first primate population survey in Belize.
Nice.
So you'll at least get 3 days out in the field assisting us in collecting population data on spider monkeys and howler monkeys. So you get to go into the jungle, be free from the rest of the world and just have fun 3 days in the jungle looking at monkeys. So, and again, this was kind of based off of, we were hearing from various universities and stuff that they're pushing students not necessarily to do internships, but to take more courses. And so, and again, this was just kind of what academia is changing for whatever reason. And so we just decided to go ahead and make this kind of more of like an official course. And if you look up our REC program, which is our Wildlife Research Education and Conservation course, so REC, what we have done is we've set up several different courses per year. So there's set dates. And with each course, there's going to be a different learning experience, just because as the seasons change, so does animal behavior. So if you like, you'd be able to, if you're really interested in understanding about nesting ecology with animals, what you could do is come and take our April course, because during that time, that's when the American crocodiles are starting to lay their eggs, and so we'll be doing nesting ecology, Or maybe you're really interested in learning more about community outreach. Well, the best time to come would be during Croctober. And yes, we'll still be doing some field research, but I know that there are some people that are more interested in community outreach and education and discussion, because they want to know how you can build a bond, right? So, go ahead and look up on the CRC page, look up our REC course and see, what time of the year you would like to come. And like I said, it's still pretty much our internship program, but we've just kind of changed a little bit of jargon, but we're also now putting more effort into those students that are coming here so that they really get a full experience when it comes to wildlife research and conservation. And even kind of moving forward with that as well, we have a hybrid REC course, because again, we understand for whatever reason, some people might not be able, they want to do a full month internship, but they can't be away for a month. So what people could do is take our hybrid REC course, which means you would do 2 weeks of presentation at your home and then come here for the field work for 2 weeks. So you're still not getting as much field work as you would doing a full month of the REC course with us. But again, at least you're still able to get some field experience as well. And then finally, we are excited to say that we are doing a summer REC course in Dominican Republic. As the CRC, we have expanded to Dominican Republic. We are working with government and protecting the only population of American crocodiles in Dominican Republic in Lago Enriquillo. So we do have a 3-4 month rec course out there. And that is going to be led by one of my, I think he was like intern number 3. So I think Bobby Greco was an intern in 2017. And then he ended up becoming my master's student. And now he's my PhD student. And he's doing his PhD out in Dominican Republic. So he is going to be the main guy leading the rec course out there with a couple of other CRC associates.
Do I know him? I know his name for some reason. I think I've met him. I think I've met him somewhere. That didn't deal with down there. Is he from Florida?
He originally from Connecticut, but then he did his master's with Adam Rosenblatt in Florida.
There you go. That's how I know him. Okay, that's how I know him.
That's that, and he's been to a couple of Croc Fest.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's, you know how it is. Sometimes you hear these names and you're like, the crocodile community is not that big. Most of us know each other for the most part.
Yeah, and the other thing is too is you might have seen his picture and name circling around just because he just became a member of the Crocodile Specialist Group.
That might be what it was too. Yeah, that might be what it was too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's very neat, Marisa. Dear goodness gracious, you have a lot of different things going on at the same time. Tentacles are everywhere. It's awesome.
Yes, I'm omnipresent. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh Lord, I'm trying to think. In the crocodilian world, if I wasn't going to use tentacles, what would I say is everywhere? There's osteoderms all over the place, or ISOs.
Yes,
I'm not sure.
Yes.
Yeah, things are everywhere. The sensors are out.
Things are everywhere.
Oh Lord.
Exactly.
So you started the CRC in 2016, and now here we are.
Correct.
Here we are 8 years later, and you've made vast expansions into what you're doing, who you're working with, what's going on. Where do you see it going over the next 8 years? What do you think? What do you think the future holds for the CRC?
So we are collaborating with Crocodile Encounter in Texas and creating a facility here.
Yes, which is beautiful.
So I think by 8 years it would pretty much like be very well established. I'm hoping at that point too that we can start initiating and creating a research lab, because we need a more thorough research lab here in Belize. And that's something where like right now, for us to do any genetics or heavy metal sampling, pollution sampling, we have to send all this stuff out to other countries. And there's not a lot of options for places in this region. So I would love to be an established lab source for the Caribbean and Central America when it comes to such type of analyses. So that's a goal of mine. And I hope
now
year 16, we're starting to touch on that.
Now to be a lab, I also
have been working hard in trying to get the Placencia Lagoon into a wildlife sanctuary. So I'm hoping at that point we would be the managers at that point. And I think at that time as well, our community outreach, our message in regards to crocodiles and coexistence is really spreading. And I would love it by year 20 and year 30. And I'm giving myself grace. I think Belize can be an amazing model to the rest of the world on how to coexist with crocodiles, because so many communities are already doing it. I am having to fight the sensationalization via Hollywood and poor journalism, and also immigrants from other countries coming with their views of crocodiles despite them never having ever interacted with a crocodile. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about.
Happens here too. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like having to fight that, but it's really trying to empower those that are here now with the facts and the education and also the cultural connection. Because the one beauty about Belize is people are very proud of nature. They very much understand how nature provides, how they are intertwined with nature. And so by really providing the people the power of knowledge, and also, providing them the cultural connections that have been lost due to Hollywood and colonization, and really trying to, in a sense, exemplify, if we lose crocodiles, if we lose jaguar, if we lose scarlet macaws, we're just not losing these animals. We're losing a piece of who we are. These animals are intertwined with the Belizean culture. Our ancestors, our grandfathers, great grandparents, they all have stories that are intertwined with these animals. And if we lose that, we lose a piece of who we are. So I can see, at least in 20 to 30 years, I think we will have a really fantastic croc-wise country here in Belize.
For those that need to hear it, Marisa, let's go back to the foundation here real quick. The American crocodile. Tell us a little bit about the American crocodile.
Overall or in Belize?
Overall.
Overall. All right. So the American crocodile, it is called the American crocodile because you can find it throughout the Americas. So from the southern tip of Florida all the way down to Colombia. You can find it in the Caribbean islands, and then you can also find it on the West Coast I published this history note, but it was in Baja, California, now all the way down to Ecuador. So this is a species that can be found throughout the Americas. However, right now, certain genetics are coming out. It's very possible that this is actually there's a cryptic species within the population. So there actually might not just be one species of American crocodile. It might actually be two, but we're still waiting for all the genetic information about that. But this is a species that lives along the coast or along the Keys, so it can tolerate high salinity. This is why it's also called the saltwater crocodile, and that's because when people watch TV and they see saltwater crocodiles, it's showing the very aggressive and bold and large salties from Australia. So people now are starting thinking that's what our saltwater crocodiles are. Our saltwater crocodiles are overall puppy dogs.
Yes.
I feel comfortable going in the water with them to try to capture them. They're very timid, very shy of people. They're not timid and shy with people when they have been habituated by humans. I can at least say here in Belize, like 98, 99% of all attacks by American crocodiles to humans, the root of the problem is not the bad behavior of crocodiles, it's the bad behavior of humans. A simple one is just do not feed the animals, do not feed the crocs. That can change so much when it comes to negative interactions between crocodiles and people. This species, at least in Belize, it gets to be about 13 feet, but in other countries, it can get as large as 18 feet. And these are hole nesters, so they really like to find sandy beaches or just areas where they can dig a hole and lay the nest. However, they are also known in other areas to build mounds, similar to other species like the Moralettes crocodile. And despite the huge size of this animal, it actually prefers eating fish or crustaceans. So if I remember correctly, a study came out and about 95% of the American crocodile's diet is fish. So this is mainly a fish eater, even when it gets to a very large size.
That is their jam, without a doubt. It's the jammy jam.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody likes a good piece of fish. Jam. Everybody likes a good piece of fish.
Yes.
Marisa.
Fishy fish. Yes.
Serious question.
Okay. Oh gosh.
I'm looking at your graphic on the TV here where we're filming, and it's a picture of you golfing. Did you become a professional golfer and we just did not realize it? Because I'm going back in my mind. I'm like, somehow I remember this thing where Marisa was golfing.
It's good form.
It's solid form. And if I remember right, your first ever golf swing, you actually connected with the ball. There's people that have been golfing their entire lives and still swing and miss the ball. And your first ever golf swing, you connected. So what is this picture about? I know people like us who work with crocodilians for a living. We end up barefoot a lot, or maybe it's just me and you. I don't know. Maybe it's just me and you. But in this picture, just like I do, you are golfing barefoot too. So yeah, walk us through this whole situation.
Yeah. So this, I am not a professional golfer. I have not golfed since that day.
Me either. Yeah, me either.
Yeah. So thanks to you, Frank, we attended a fundraiser in Chicago, and it was kind of like a 2-day fundraiser. It's a silent auction, and then the next day is a fun day of golf with various celebrities and athletes and first responders. And we were like, there was a term I remember Betsy using, because we were with the retired Chicago firefighters. That day we were like not a host, but we were supposed to make sure like these group of guys were having a good time. We were like their, what is the term Betsy used? I can't remember.
We were their mascots. Is that what we were? Their mascots?
Mascots. I just remember her. I can't remember. Anyways, luckily no one's taking this whole day of golf seriously. Everyone's just out there having a good time, raising funds for the first responders. And I remember it was my turn to golf. And I told everyone, I don't know what I'm doing, and I remember some of the firefighters like telling me how to stand, how to swing. And it was just recently that someone's like, you swung like Happy Gilmore. Because I do have a video of it, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, I totally just Happy Gilmore'd that ball. Like I just, I used to play baseball when I was like super, super young. And, so I feel like I wanted to swing at it like a baseball, that I got it.
No, it worked out. I thought it was a fairly professional swing. You did have a very baseball-like swing because your stance was very wide. But yeah, it worked out. Remember, we all just stood back and smiled and like, look at Marisa go. Like, I mean, it's not asking a whole lot. We're people that are doing physical things for a living that require some dexterity to what we're doing. So it's not that far-fetched to think that you can make the end of a club hit a ball. I had faith that you could pull it off, and you did.
And I did. And it was a great day, and they raised tons of funds for the first responders. So that was fantastic.
Yeah, we need to get together and golf again soon, or just hang out.
Yes.
It doesn't have to include golf, but that was a fun day.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I got to get you and Jody back down here. That was fun.
That was a good time. Yeah, that was a good time. We got to get back down there for sure. Marisa, we super, super appreciate your time. Thank you for all the work you're doing. And yeah, just keep fighting the good fight like we all are, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for inviting me.
Yep.
I always love sharing.
Yep, we love you a bunch. Appreciate you. And yeah, I'll catch up with you soon, okay?
All right. Catch up with you, buddy.
All right. See you, Marisa.
Bye.
Bye. The one and only Marisa. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Always cool to connect with her. Awesome lady. But man, I think
so many irons in the fire.
No joke. That's what I was fixing to say. I think I stay busy, which I do. I stay busy.
Sure.
But then you have somebody like her. When we go down there, last year we were down there 3 times. When we go down there to watch her work and try to balance all these things that she has going on, she has like these online educational programs going, programs she's doing in person, research, going out and check on the facility she has has the crocodiles in it that they're rehabbing, the things she has going on around her house, raising her daughter. I mean, the woman is, she's going nonstop.
Got a lot of stuff happening.
She's going nonstop. Not to mention, like I said, being a mom too, which is a pretty serious job on its own right.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Lord, good times. Anything exciting going on? Wait, today is homecoming?
Today is homecoming, the big homecoming game.
So there's the games today, the dances tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever went to homecoming.
Oh, you never did?
No.
I never did when I went to high school either.
I think I went to prom. Yeah, I went to prom. I never went to homecoming.
Oh, okay.
So what exactly happens at homecoming?
It's a dance.
It's just a dance?
It's a dance.
Why is it called homecoming?
Well, it's a homecoming because
what does that really mean?
Traditionally, your football team was on the road for a period of time, and then they came home. And it's also a time for colleges and such when the alumni come back to campus. They come back home
Oh, is that what's happening at our homecomings? Do like people that were used to come to THS come back?
Not much for high school.
I say because we played a home game last week and now we're back at home again.
But sometimes they do have
away game
people
in between.
that come. Well, you also have like the homecoming king and queen from last year will be back. They
to pass the title on or
to
something,
pass
right?
it on, yeah.
Yeah, I always wondered where that terminology came from, and I had never known.
Yeah, usually it's a time when graduates, alumni come back and visit the campus.
They're drugged back by their hair. You must come back to Titusville High School.
Well, it's different in high school. It's more about college. You know, high school. A lot of the things we do in high school, we're just mimicking what they do in college.
Do they do homecoming dances in college?
I'm sure the fraternities do, and that kind of, the sororities. I know that they have celebrations. They have homecoming celebrations.
That's right, because you see it at the football games. Yeah.
It's big. There's all kinds of things that happen for homecoming.
One of the many things that I've always wondered and meant to ask you, and now I have.
Okay.
Now I know more than I did before.
Which I didn't tell you very much because I don't know a whole lot about it.
Fujiyama effect.
The Fujiyama effect, yeah.
Yes, 2 hurricanes being absorbed into one giant hurricane, or 2 hurricanes and one bouncing off the other.
Okay.
I don't know why they didn't have 2 different names for the different things, like bouncy Fujiyama versus Fujiyama.
Well, they say that that's what this thing is doing because there's a low pressure system over like northern Mississippi. And that's what's trapping this thing.
It's going to push it back down to us?
Well, it's not going to push it back down because it'll go on the frontal. It'll go north. It'll go to the northeast. But right now, normally they go off and then they run northeast. But this one is actually spinning around.
Really?
It's spinning around an existing low pressure system. And
has that happened before?
Staying there. I'm sure it has. It hasn't happened in a long time. So it's a big flood problem for South Carolina and western North Carolina and Tennessee.
Remember the one a few years ago that came across the state, went out here off the Space Coast, and it looked like it was going off on the forever unknown and did like a loopity-loop and came back?
Right. There was one that went through Jacksonville, turned around, came back, and hit Jacksonville again. That'll teach Jackson.
Nature. Weird contraptions. All right, you ready to end it?
Okay, so there you go.
Yep, I'm going to it. Thank you all for tuning into the EEARSS Podcast, produced here at Terrier TV. If you're interested in sponsoring our program, which hits approximately 35 to 5,500 listeners a week, the past couple weeks we've actually jumped up past that quite a bit. We've had some pretty amazing guests, including our guest today, Miss Marisa. You can reach out to us at ears.org@gmail.com. It's EEARSS.org@gmail.com. Go over to the website, hit us up on Instagram, Alligator Rob. Tell us a little bit about who you'd like to see on the program, what you think about what's going on. Leave us a comment, like, subscribe, do all the things. Hit the check marks, hit the little buttons, make the little ringy bell sounds when things pop up. Find us, listen to us, enjoy it. We'll catch you all next week. Bye-bye.